the measure bracket where we're going to get guaranteed buyers coming back in. Now, the value was short-term selling. Macro-wise, we've got a lot of buy-side value. And remember, we're trying to trade this back against what? What are we trying to trade this back against? Well, we've obviously got the big forecast coming out for the oil inventory numbers. So obviously the idea is we're trying to trade that back into those inventory numbers again this afternoon. So we want to be long oil if we can be long oil. And we showed you these liquidity sweep prices, and we wanted to sweep that to get to this measured price point. From that measured price point, it became simply a case of finding the lean in and around that price point at 60 for ultimately the move back above the 78s. Now, the value's not developed, so what are you going to do up here? You're going to cash in your money and you're going to say, thank you very much for the memories. So you get that trade there. You cash in your money with the divergence in value into buy-side liquidity and close it out the trade. You know, so, yeah, it's only a $450 profit. It's only a $400 profit, but it's still a very good profit, all things considered. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that bit of business there, guys. In line with the big picture, we want to be long. It's been hard to be long because obviously we had some short-term stories also coming in causing what we saw. But this was an easy one. I think this was as easy as these two buy trades here as well. Bearing in mind in the background, we also had a 56 in this area into this reversal. And that gave you a lot more confidence, in addition to which, of course, we got this enormous 1400 hours. They're taking the price down into the NYMEX Open. And because they're taking the price down into the NYMEX Open, your gut feel is that this is going to be a buy trade from the left side liquidity. So this is always what we talk about. When we come into a cash open, we look left. And whether we've got a view on what's going to happen next or not doesn't actually make any difference. So when we come into the cash open of any market, you know, so if we've got a cash open here and we've got a cash open here, you know, these are both cash opens, two completely different markets. But, you know, the idea is that if we're looking in the background to this here, and we see something like this happening here, and we're coming into the cash open, we know that the basic idea is that they are coming into the cash open as sellers, right? So the idea is that they're doing that for a reason. You look to the left and you find your sell side liquidity at the cash open, so that when the cash open hits, the idea is I want to buy into that potential sweep. That's my gut feel, my first feel, my initial view is that that's what I should be looking for. And likewise, if the market had been trading higher into the cash open here, and we'd seen this type of narrative here, the basic idea is we always look to the left hand and find the buy side liquidity. And as we find the buy side liquidity, we're looking for that trade to then take place into the cash opens, into those top of the hour trades, into the cash closes, for example, into data, for example. These are all possible things that we can be looking for to try and trade from. You know, so when we go through that exercise, it becomes quite easy because all you're doing is recognizing what direction the price is going in. So that was a good example when we looked at that oil at 1400 hours. I don't think anybody could look at oil at 1400 hours and not suggest that in the preceding period of play, we had been seeing this sell coming into 1400 hours. So you're obviously looking to the left and you're saying, where is my liquidity? There it is there. That's the structural liquidity. And if that's the structural liquidity, if it goes below that, I need to be looking to buy into this. Now, the short-term value didn't agree, but it's still the trade that they're doing. Whether you like it or whether you don't like it, it's still the trade they're doing. So when you look in the background, you then say, well, that's the reason why, because this is a macro trade at the cash open, and that's the macro value at the cash open, and the macro value is bullish. So macro trades at macro opens, at macro values, are more important at macro trade levels than they are short-term. So the macro trade on oil was long. It doesn't mean that the micro trade is. And obviously we can see why we closed out our positions here, because the micro trade said enough for the time being, enough. So the best trade for us is a retest. We've obviously got a 56 in here. So if we've got a 56 here into this liquidity, then of course this means that there's a very, very good area here to look for possible short-term value reversals. If we get a short-term value reversal coming back onto our books, then that can be a thing. Now, what did Max make of this entire phase here? What did Max think of it? Let's take a look at what Max's view of this trade was. Well, Max kind of agreed with the sell rather than the buy trade. Now, on the buy trade, of course, Max was strongly divergent from this pin zone here. So at least we got the strong divergence. Well, that's at least something in our favor. You know, we can recognize that it's not ideal. Max seems to think that the frequency just now is more for the sellers. And therefore, if you were looking at it from a Max point of view, you'd have obviously been watching this, top edge here from that pin zone. You're now recognizing that we've came back into a pin zone. Max sellers are in charge of a pin zone. We know that nearly always reverses very quickly. That's something you'll learn about Max, is if Max is in control of a pin zone, which they weren't here, which they weren't here, which they weren't here. If Max is in control of a pin zone, the price, as soon as any sell volume or buy volume comes in, the price starts to rotate round, and that's why we had an easy money exit. Max was in charge of the sell zone, so it's not going to go very far, one would imagine, especially when you start seeing it turning down again. So that gives you a nice idea about that exit price, possibly even a short sell if you like the short-term value. But at the short-term value, you know that there's probably going to be some buyers coming back in here, and that's something that you're going to be paying attention to, is does this market go bid? Does this market go bid? What market maker line was I showing you yesterday? The line we showed most of yesterday was just the composite. So that's just the max. That's just the red line on the max. Yeah. So when you're looking at the red line and the max, you can see the red line and the max here was selling off into that top edge there. So you got this idea that that was probably going to be a short sell into that pin zone. And, you know, it was right, because it was a short sell into that pin zone. And we got this very, very, very nice trade coming away from this. You know, we've actually been working on a Nash indicator as well. We showed the guys this morning this is going to be part of the max if it proves to have any value. But the Nash indicator, very straightforward. But the basic idea here is if, you know, we trade towards the blue line, right? So you can see in here, what direction was the blue line going? Yeah, so you can see that that trade was so obvious and so clear. What direction was the blue line going? So obviously you can recognize that there are some clues, you know, looking at some of these ideas, that, you know, we can get some very, very short-term changes. Now, obviously, if the purple line is well above the blue line, that gives us a lot of space to make money on, right? You know, so when the purple line starts, you know, dropping below the blue line here, then you don't really want to be short during that phase. This is probably going to start jamming up into this area, right? So we can sense that it's going to start jamming around this area. And if we could put some buy-side value back into this, you know, we could start thinking about a real money possible buy reversal, couldn't we? I'm just taking some profits, guys. I'm obviously short equities, as you probably can have guessed. They didn't like me buying at 800 there. They certainly moved their offers away kind of quickly. Cost me a few bob there when they moved their offers. They did not like me buying 800, I'm telling you that much. Little rascals, aren't they? Little rascals. Still made some money. That's all that's important. Still made some cash. Cash open, guys. Cash opens. Let's see what we get from this storyline. Bulls on a bull steepener at the moment. A bull steepener at the moment. It's a buy trade on equities at the moment. We still have that bull steepener in place. Buy trade on equities at this point. And that bull steepener, of course, was my buy at 800 on the NASDAQ. And they didn't like it one little bit that I bought it, did they? Okay, there we go. Nice little pop to the upside. Stops at break even on the net buying position there. I did add some more on the Ninja Trader there, and we managed to get a nice top line. So we took out the top edge there beautifully, managed to make some easy money. And there it is. There's the takeout of the top edge there. So we're in a bull steepener just now. So I cannot sell this. It's buy side only for the cash open for me at this point. And you know, we've had a beautiful little buy there off the 800s. It just traded 815 on the pop. And there was nothing wrong with that. Bull steepener still in place. Curve starting to curve right back round again. We're rolling higher here. We're rolling higher still. Stops at break even again. I bought some more. And we've got to stop at break even. If it goes higher, we're in good shape. So I bought some more on the dip here. So I bought some more on this dip. We're in a bull steepener. I want to be long equities. I want to be long equities. I want to be long equities. I'm buying on dips. And, you know, we've just popped another nice little profit there for another 10 points into the bank account. And we're still on. We're still on. So, you know, just taking a little pause. Let the market think about whether they like it. And then we'll look to go again. Stops at break even again, guys. So we bought again off the 10s, and we're off and running again to 20s. So another easy money profit. Anybody join me on that drop? This was an easy one because if you look at your charts, obviously that was the low of the prior candle, so it was quite easy to take a buy trade off that. By the time I jumped into Ninja Trader, I was a little bit later than you know, I was on my own account, but still profitable in Ninja Trader nonetheless. Not exactly too difficult to have that one as a buy and a winner. And isn't that just the business, guys? Isn't that not just the business? How easy was that buy trade? Crazy, right? Soon as we got clear about that bull steepener, we knew we could buy anywhere, because that's what a bull steepener tells us to be able to do, right? Buy anywhere, and we should be able to make some easy money. Did I buy anywhere and make some easy money, even on Ninja Trader? Sure. What I actually bought myself for ourselves was, you know, when you look at the candle here, I was interested in buying into this dip here. So I was interested in buying into that dip phase there. So that's what I was buying into. If I can get the color to show up. By the time I got into Ninja Trader, it had already spun around and it was moving. So, you know, obviously it's a case of just chasing it. I knew that we would still make money on that chaser. So I don't see any reason why we shouldn't take a shot at it. And that's what I did. I took my shot, got the monies, made the profit, easy money trade. And yeah, pretty good bit of business. What's not to like? Well, Elvis was right. The buy on bonds has went from 123.16s to 124 evens for a $500 buy side reversal. So well done anybody that played that one as well. We're very, very, very good. All called in advance, of course. We talked about that buy reversal well in advance of it happening.